Memes are the shorthand of the internet age. Almost everyone recognizes this one, or this one, and us wrestling folk, we have our beloved collection as well, such as this one, or this one, but do you know where all of them actually originated? I'm Senior Siete here for 7 Wrestling. Let's take a look at 7 WWE memes and where they came from. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and super kick that notification bell. Number 1, Crazy Seth Face. Man, who didn't love The Shield? It's tough to forget that their original run didn't even last 2 years, but obviously the success of all 3 of the members would cement their place in history as one of the best factions of all time. And who doesn't love the weird rock, paper, scissors thing they have going with the world title? Ambrose can beat Rollins, but not Reigns. Reigns can beat Ambrose, but not Rollins. Rollins can beat Reigns, but not Ambrose. It's fun. But little did we know that during the 2015 Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, that we'd get a sneak peek at what Ambrose's first WWE title victory would look like, in the main event of a weird show that included the bizarre moment where Mark Henry was accidentally released from his Elimination Chamber pod, and nobody quite knew what to do about it. Seriously, they just stood there pointing at each other like the real-life Spider-Man meme. Right, yeah, that's right, we're here to talk about memes. Anyhow, in the main event, Seth Rollins would defend his WWE title against the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose. Over the course of the match, Rollins would pull the referee in front of him while Ambrose was pulling off a top rope maneuver. With the referee knocked out, Ambrose would hit the dirty deeds, and the second referee would run in, count the pinfall, and award Ambrose his first ever WWE Championship. Roll the credits, crowd goes home happy, the Ambrose era is upon us. Haha. Unfortunately, we'd be treated to what is popularly known as a dusty finish. Now, created by legendary booker Dusty Rhodes, a dusty finish is when they make it look like the good guy has triumphed over evil, but has it all taken away because of a technicality. It's a great way to burn an audience and make your good guy look really stupid. It's why WCW crowds eventually soured on Lex Luger after seeing him almost win the title a billion times. It's proof that not every member of the Rhodes family knows the proper way to finish a story. At any rate, the first referee would come to and say that while Ambrose did win the match, he didn't win it by pinfall because Rollins was already disqualified for pulling the referee in front of an airborne Ambrose. So Dean does win the match, but he doesn't win the title. And in the bad guy celebration that ensues, Seth Rollins makes this face, pure elation from the former architect and meme gold. Number 2, McMahon loving life. We've all seen the classic Vince McMahon meme where things keep getting better and better and the former chairman of the board keeps getting more and more excited. What could possibly get him into such a giddy state? A roster of independent contractors who aren't allowed to ply their trades elsewhere? Ripping up scripts hours before a show is about to go live? Ooh, embarrassing a loyal longtime employee on national television? Nah. It's a woman. A woman that has to pretend to be attracted to him because it's her job. Let's not act surprised. It all took place on the April 11, 2002 episode of SmackDown where Vince McMahon was searching for a new executive assistant. McMahon would proceed to invite out candidate number 1, and if you want to know how wild the ruthless aggression crowds were, know that this woman was booed just for existing. Known as Sylvia Johnson, the woman would rattle off a wildly impressive resume. However, McMahon sent her on her way because she wasn't his type. Ugh. The second candidate didn't fare any better. He was even greeted by a colorful chant from the crowd before McMahon immediately kicked him out of the ring. It seemed like we were finally on the right track when the third candidate, Sue Aitchison, made her way to the ring. She had several wonderful qualifications and even allowed McMahon to make a dictation joke. Ruthless aggression. It's then that McMahon tells Sue that the job is hers unless someone makes him an offer he can't refuse. Cue Stacy Keibler's Kid Rock music as she comes strutting out in her classic WCW Miss Hancock attire. And from there, the former Baltimore's Raven cheerleader, former Nitro Girl, proceeded to show off her, qualifications, while McMahon treated us to a wide variety of meme-worthy faces. And while watching this in 2024, we just have to keep saying, we didn't know back then, we just didn't know. Number 3, he's just a happy Kurt. Alright, it's time for a Kurt Angle meme. No, 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 not that Kurt Angle meme. That's too easy. That's just from when he started, he made an introduction on TikTok. No, no, no. We're talking about this weird little shot where it looks like Mr. Rogers is teaming up with a couple of neighborhood hoodlums. This shot is from the 2017 Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view, and it might go down in history as one of the most messed up shows in WWE history. The show was originally slated to have a main event that featured the reunion of The Shield, Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose, squaring off against The Miz and The Bar in a TLC match. And over the course of the weeks leading up to the match, Braun Strowman and Kane would both be added to The Miz's team, which is idiotic. 5-on-3, the whole thing is really giving off Alliance to End Hulkamania vibes. Anyhow, what made this pay-per-view messed up, aside from the insane main event, was the fact that the two top matches had to be changed due to a viral infection at the last minute. Bray Wyatt had to be removed from his match with Finn Balor, which was probably a good thing, as to counter Balor's demon persona, Wyatt was going to dress up like, Sister Abigail? Which, what in the Resident Evil Village? Ugh, at any rate, it was a choice. And with Wyatt on the sidelines, they just kind of dropped it and never brought it up again. AJ Styles would be brought in as Wyatt's replacement, and the match was fantastic. So it worked out in everyone's favor. And Roman Reigns had to be removed from the main event. He was replaced by then Raw General Manager Kurt Angle, who, boy, does he look pleased as punch to be there. His first match with the WWE in over a decade was a cluster something, and the Angle-led Shield managed to beat 5 other World Championship caliber opponents. Brother. Number 4, our favorite fan ever. In hindsight, it made all the sense in the world to have Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 30. The former Next Big Thing had quite a few high-profile losses since his return to the WWE a few years earlier. He lost his in-ring return to John Cena in what was a criminally underrated match at Extreme Rules 2012. He lost at the previous year's WrestleMania in a mediocre match to a past his prime Triple H, and by all accounts, everyone expected him to be the latest victim in The Undertaker's celebrated WrestleMania streak. But funny thing happened on the way to the Superdome. It was decided that Shield member Roman Reigns was going to be the next big thing, and he'd need an unbeatable monster to conquer. The plan was for Brock to destroy the new champion Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam and take the title, then go on a reign of terror that would end at the hands of the big dog at WrestleMania 31. That, of course, isn't how it turned out, with Bryan's injury resulting in Cena being the one who was squished at SummerSlam, and Roman's inability to be accepted as the new guy led to Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase and leaving WrestleMania 31 as new champion. Best laid plans, huh? But all of this began with the WWE giving Brock back some of his lost legitimacy, and that happened the night he defeated The Undertaker and snapped the undefeated streak. And anyone who says they saw it coming is lying. It was a legitimate shock. Watch the fans all grab their heads. Nobody can believe it. And while turning Brock's career around was one very important outcome of this match, another has to be that it brought this fella, Ellis, into our lives. That's right, and bless that guy's heart for getting the dead man to return the favor 2 years later. Number 5, Dead Man Laughing. Alright, more Undertaker memes, let's go! The dead man waited over a year to get his revenge on the Beast Incarnate, and revenge he did so receive. Wow, that was a sentence. Anyhow, Undertaker got back at Lesnar by interrupting his title match against Seth Rollins at Battlegrounds 2015 by hitting him in the old F2. This led to a rematch between the duo at that year's SummerSlam. After a knockdown, drag-out brawl, both guys are flat on their backs after a devastating tombstone pile driver. Lesnar was the first one to sit up having a case of the giggles after the hellacious battle he'd been through. He might have just been thinking about that time he F5'd a shark. I'd laugh too. And then The Undertaker sat up as well and decided to share in the moment for some reason. It was weird, it was kind of disturbing, it was definitely awesome, a meme in the making. And it was a moment that was so iconic, Mattel decided to immortalize it in action figure form. I need one of those right now. Number 6, He's Behind Me, Isn't He? Alright, one more Undertaker meme. The Undertaker Last Ride documentary was the first time in a long time that Mark Calloway pulled back the curtain and explained what life was like portraying the legendary Undertaker, and one of the most interesting takeaways was how obsessed he had become with having a great final match. After having an impressive WrestleMania streak of awesome matches against Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and CM Punk, his in-ring efforts kinda hit the toilet with less spectacular bouts against Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns. The final indignity coming when he had gotten himself into amazing shape to square off against John Cena at WrestleMania 34, only to find out earlier that day that it would only be a quick squash. And then 1 year later, he'd miss his first WrestleMania completely since WrestleMania 2000. So it was his hope that he'd finally be able to have that perfect match to hang his hat on with AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36. If anyone can get him there, it'd be the phenomenal one. The Undertaker has always had success bouncing around guys half his size. But it should be noted that WrestleMania 36 took place in 2020 at the dawn of the COVID pandemic. So instead of taking place in front of 70,000 screaming fans at Raymond James Stadium, it was a cinematic match that happened on a farm somewhere. Maybe not ideal, but it was fun for what it was, and it did give us this iconic moment where as AJ was preparing to use a tractor to bury the dead man, The Undertaker appears behind Styles' back like a classic movie monster. Awesome meme material. But this one might have been replaced recently. Number 7. Smiling Edge. The rated R superstar may not have much to smile about these days now that AEW has sucked all the special off of him. Don't get us wrong, we actually really like AEW, it just has not done a lot of favors for Mr. Copeland. But boy, did he have a lot to smile about during his sneaky bastard Live Amore celebration heyday. In particular, at the 2009 No Way Out pay-per-view, Edge became the only person to ever compete in 2 Elimination Chambers in one evening. Not only that, but he lost the WWE title in the first chamber, then won the World Heavyweight title in the second. The evening started off with Edge succumbing to a small package, get your head out of the gutter, in about 3 minutes. A furious Edge would return in the main event, beat up competitor Kofi Kingston during his entrance, then lock himself in Kofi's pod, and apparently this was enough to allow him to enter the match. Friggin' Jack Tunney would have never let that stand. But stand it did, and later in the bout when defending champion Jonathan Cena was defeated after being hit with a codebreaker from Chris Jericho, a 619 from Rey Mysterio, and finally a spear from Edge, it dawned on the co-inventor of the 5-second pose that Cena would no longer be the World Heavyweight Champion. We got this $1 million smile. And here's a fun fact, the internet teaches us that this meme gets even better when you lop off Edge's nose. Well, there's our list. Did we forget any other WWE memes? If so, leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and toss that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Singer Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.